Morning guys, Saturday morning. We've got a lot of work to do today and it seems the fun is starting. Remember that noise I told you about? Well, I've just moved my car because they're digging the paths up. So my car is over there, the barriers are there, and the guys have just started. Now this machine is just one of those little diggers with a pneumatic ram on the end, but what will come after is a big lorry with a massive vacuum cleaner on it. That's the one I'm waiting for. Gonna make an absolute racket. So with that in mind, we've got that welding to do today about 10:30. It's 9 o'clock now, so about 10:30 I'm going to come out here with a plasma cutter and I'm going to start cutting certain parts of that area out. I think I am going to cut the spring hanger, a section of that off, so I can get to that whole area and cut it. I might even have to jack it up. This might end up being a bigger job than I really need it to be. We'll try and get the camera on it as much as we possibly conceivably can. Daft thing is, I did do that one. You can see there's a patch there. Same thing went on that. The problem is that's gone on the inside edge here, on the other side, that corner there. So the other side's a little bit worse than this side, so I wish that was outside my house right this minute, to be honest. But who knows, he might be out here by 10:30. Right. Well, I don't know about you, but I really don't like unsuspecting big jobs. They wind me up massively. Unfortunately, my snapper one is destroyed. I lent it to someone and they didn't look after it while they were using it. Not their fault, they didn't know. Tell you, this thing doesn't mess around at all. There's a wheelie behind it. That is really oily. I wonder if that seal's gone. Okay, so to drop this spring out, I believe I'm going to have to take the shock off for definite. I think I will have to take the anti-roll bar off for definite. And then I need to jack the chassis up. So I think we can pull this out and put that under there. So when I drop the axle down, I'm hoping my rock slider will be strong enough to be able to lift everything up and out of the way. And then once we've got that done, we can hopefully, because the crack runs just above that weld line, jacked the rock slider up. I have no idea how strong that bugger is. I just need to get that out. But oh, I thought everything was over, but it's not. There's more to undo because they've done that. I've got 2 bolts at the bottom to now shift, and then we'll be ready to pull that out. And then we'll have to secure the vehicle a little bit better than what I've got it, because at the moment it's really dicey. I got one under that rocky, but I'm sure that's bending. Shouldn't do, because it'd be a very bad design in my rock sliders if it is. but we could get another one of those axle stands because they're quite large. We could do that under the back. Just going to get the other one and a bolt. Right, where are we going to put that? There we go. That should give me an, oh my lordy, that ain't on there very well. Ouch! Note to self, get your hand out from behind the spring. It's hard to believe, and I'm not joking, it's hard to believe that I did actually sandblast this, and just from sitting in 6 years, how the paint has just come off and I am covered almost in rust in some areas. Oh, that crack, that is big. Right, I need my chip hammer. There you go. So that's cracked there. I've just hammered up there. That seems to be fine. Yeah, I just put my hand in there. There's a plate that runs all the way along and in. And what's happened by the looks of things is those holes, water has got in through there, and because they haven't sealed up inside where that plate is, water has got trapped, which is a nuisance to me. This is why these things don't last long, because companies just don't do a proper job of anything, and they want you to buy more, really. And now we've hit a time in life where the government can't make their mind up to what direction we're going in, so everyone's now holding on to their cars as long as they can, and the second-hand market is literally shot. Well, I'm hoping. I don't feel that good under there either. Where's my chip hammer gone? There it is. Right, well that seems to be okay. So there is a rust hole underneath starting to happen, and I don't do underside welding, I'm terrible at it, so if the engineer report comes back with a hole, then I'll have to book it in and I'll have to weld it, because I really, without this being on a car lift, I can't do it. I physically cannot do it. So, as the old saying go, that being said, I will get the Plazzy out and I will cut all the way down there and across to there, and I will bring it across the top and down. That will be the easiest way to weld that back in. I will cut a hole out, put a plate over the top of everything, so I shall try and cut as much of this out as I can and then replate it, and then when it comes to putting this on, because the plate will sit on the outside, I will then retrim up there so as I can shove it in place, because here is the only bit that's going to overlap, yeah, and I'll weld that back on, and hopefully that will get us out of trouble. Unfortunately I can't get the camera any lower, so what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to prep, and then I'll try and weld it tomorrow or day after.
Doing crazy dreaming. You're the was a lot of rot I had to take out of there, and you always have to go more than what you need to. That's the problem with rot. I don't even know what I've done with the metal I took off. Where is it? Oh, there's one bit. Actually, that wasn't too bad. It probably didn't need to come out, but I mean, that's, I don't know if you can see that, but that's pretty shot. I got the carrier, the other half of that carrier, so I'll clean that up with the grinder, and we'll weld that back in. However it went, I can't remember. That way, weren't it? So we'll clean them all up and we'll weld that back in when we've got the new metal. We'll weld it up on the inside as well as the outside, and we'll flatten out, and we'll just, we can put that back. Not an issue. Not an issue. Oh, that's about as clean as I can get it. Just kind of debating whether to slide a patch over the top so it overlaps around, but underlaps there, because it'll be easier to weld that up if it underlaps. So what I've got to do is get a chisel and hammer that flat and clean up all that muck. So it'll be a wire brush on that next. That's probably going to be my best bet, actually. That'll be easier for me to weld. I need to get this off, so I'll get a Tipex in a minute and pull off, so I don't forget. I ain't going to do it any more today because my knees are killing me. So that's where we got it so far. Using two pieces of cardboard, I've managed to create the template to make the metal, and it sits in there quite nice. So okay guys, we are done. We are welded. I even managed to extend that out to match the other side because I got that a bit wrong. Don't ask. So one big huge plate in here, welded all the way along there, up there, down. Now normally I would grind the welds back. On this occasion I decided that for once in my life I'd like to weld something where I don't have to hide the bodge, and it came out pretty good. I did have problems with this. I don't know what the hell was going on under there, whether it was lead or brass or something. I struggled with that, but I managed to get it done where I had to grind that down just to tidy it up. I couldn't leave it. Haven't touched up here, so I'm going to get a wire brush in a little while, just quickly whiz over it with that, and we'll clean it all up and we'll stick some hammerite on. This area I had to grind back, that area I had to grind. I redid that one, didn't need to redo that one. That's solid there. We've got some good welding going on in there. Yeah, I'm dead pleased with that. She's got her strength back. And this one, we added a bit of metal here, but because I didn't have any rod as a filler, I just decided to splash it with weld, because we've got to do some car filling anyway. So we'll grind that back when we take that off, and we'll just fill it and tidy it up, and then we'll make a new cover to go over that, which is what I have done over this side here, stainless steel cover. And the purpose of that was that I figured that if I put normal mild tin behind there, mud would get behind it and eventually rot it out. By going with the stainless steel, which Aaron gave me, thank you Aaron, that will add a little bit of future protection in that area. That will eventually get sealed on with sealant after all the paint has been fitted. So yeah, I'm pleased. Now all I've got to do is paint it and put it all back together. So tomorrow I'll come out, I'm going to do it today, tomorrow I'll come out tomorrow and I'll start bolting everything back on. I've managed to straighten that rod a little bit as well with a jack, so hopefully that'll be fine. And I think at this point we will have to start thinking about shifting it up there, ready for the big bit, which is wire brushing, sandblasting it with the power washer, and car filler and sanding. And I need to get some sealant so I can glue the foam up on that roof inside, I haven't as yet had a chance to get any. As I said to you before, I'm trying to hold on to my money for this here auction, and every time I look at a car on the open market I get more and more gutted at the one I lost at auction. It's really driving me nuts. All I'm finding is spares or repairs and projects, and I just don't want to get involved in anything at the moment. If I'm honest with you, I just don't think we're going to end up with a pickup truck. I'll have to start looking at something else. I did actually think about another Range Rover, but this time a diesel, and maybe go through all of this again with something different on it, and this time do it out the front. Keep it silly simple, maybe a crew cab of a pickup truck from the scrappers, like a Ranger or something, bolted onto a Range Rover chassis with a diesel in it, and build something up that way. Who knows? If I can't find what I'm looking for, that may be one of the options I'm going to go down. Right, everything is back on. All the welding is done, the spring is back in. I've greased up underneath that plate because of water penetration. I've cleaned the shaft up, greased that, put the spring back on. What else did I grease up? The bolt for the anti-roll bar, cleaned that all out, greased that up, because that was a bit on the stiff side, whether I should have done or not. I've done it anyway. The bolts are all nice and tight. I did mess up the thread on the bottom of that because I put the wrong bolt on and screwed it, so I had to put a 10mm tap over it. I had to put that in the vise. I hope I haven't damaged it. I guess we will find out closer to the time. So when we put this damn thing on the road, if I have damaged the shock, I'll have to replace the rear ones. I've already done the front ones already. 6 years ago I replaced the front shocks and springs. So yeah, we just got to get the wheel back on now and go from there. Here we go, back on. It is, for now at least, rebuilt, solid again. I don't need to worry about that. I've got a hole to drill underneath. There's a rot hole, a small rot hole underneath I've got to sort out, but that's no big deal. Blooming out. You hear that? God, I can feel it in the handrail. Man, isn't it? So he's digging the hole out. What he'll do next, he's got this giant hoover. I'm not joking. It's a giant flipping hoover on a lorry. Now we've got one other job to do before we put fuel in. The last time I fired this thing up, I had a smell of burning or melting electrics. Now that could have been the spray burning off in the chambers, but I don't know, it was very distinctive. So a friend of mine gave me some zero gauge, who he turned around and said, I'm very concerned about what you've done there. And I said, well, that's all I had. And I got a chart that said that stuff was suitable, but it was only ever an emergency. So I got this. So we're going to make up some new lines. A bit of luck, and reattach the main feed that's down to the starter motor, but this time instead of going to the starting motor I'm going to go straight to the battery because I think there's enough of it.
If I cable tie that all the way around, and then I can take that to the live as a separate wire, that way when I'm turning the ignition switch, I'm not putting strain on the rest of the system, which could have been what was causing it, you know. Other than that, I don't have any other answers or ideas. Nuts. It is in. And it threads over that way. Under, I've got to get some cable clips and stuff, and straight into that because it would not reach over there. But I completely forgot I've got this. So I've got that connected up to the main one that feeds to the engine and starter motor. I can't do any more than that with it, to be honest. So there you go. I'm feeling quite happy about this, but I'm not putting fuel in it today because the containers have expanded because I left them out in the sun, and I don't want them exploding off in my face because of the pressure. Tomorrow it should be a cooler day because they're talking about rain because this hurricane, this tail end of that hurricane that's coming, should start to sweep over us. At the moment that hurricane apparently is pulling in all the hot air from Africa, which is why we're still hot. So this is not global warming, in my opinion. This is just weird weather, and we've always had, while I've been alive, weird weather. I guess climate change makes money. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the channel of Rusty Greasy Gold, where things are great and grand and work really well, and I'm not having a good time, if you want the truth. Late last night I came out here about 6 o'clock, put some petrol in this. Hey, no leaks. That's the first. I was expecting that to leak. Anyway, I'm turning the key over. Nothing. No, not a diggy bird. I had a little tiny, how can I put it, choke, cough. The engine tried to go, and then that was it. Nothing after that. Now, the checks I did last night, I did it all off camera, so I apologise. I should have shown you this. I was so confident this thing was going to fire up, I didn't think there was any point in going through all the rigmarole of putting fuel in, so that will teach me, won't it? Anyway, the fuel pump has a leak. Not really sure what's going on with that. I've got some Jubilees coming that I'm going to crack up that pipe a little tighter. But what appears to be happening is fuel's going down the line, all the way down. And it's going through, I'm assuming it's going into the carbs, but I don't think it is. And then it's hitting the other return and going back. Now, I have removed, yesterday I removed the sender unit because I wanted to see how much fuel I had, because that ruddy sender wasn't transmitting. So I pulled that out and I got half a tank. 13 quid's worth of fuel, I got half a tank. Man, I'm going to be pulling in fuel stations on this thing. I need a bigger fuel tank because this isn't going to work, I tell you now. It's too damn small. I need at least another 20 litres of space in there, so yeah, we're going to look for another tank. Turns out I don't have a live fix to that, that's why it wasn't firing up. At 13 quid, that needle was just touching the base of the red. So at least we know that when we hit the red, we've got 13 pounds worth of fuel. That's 2 jerry cans, or 2 petrol cans, you know, the little green ones. What are they, 5 litres I think, something like that? I don't know, let's have a look. Let's have a look. what have we got? Because I really don't know what these are. I've never, ever, ever paid any attentions. Maximum of 5 litres, I was correct. Yeah, we have 5 litres. So we've got 10 litres, just a fraction under 10 litres of fuel, because I didn't quite fill them right up, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I've checked, I've opened it up, I've turned the fuel pump on, and we have a return of fuel. It's moving, it don't seem to be that powerful. I squeezed the return to try and lock it off, because what this pump is supposed to do, it's supposed to go bop, 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 like that when there's no pressure, and then when pressure starts to build up, we'll go bop, 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 and that's how it works. I'm not getting none of that. I'm getting a real crap sound out of it as well, like it might be malfunctioning. It's a brand new pump, so we know it leaks. The inlet pipe is leaking. Shouldn't be doing that, but it is. If it's leaking, then that means to me that there is a pressure system in there. There is pressure in it, but might not be enough pressure. Might not be enough to push it in to the carburetors to why it ain't working. Now, what I can tell you is last night I pulled the pipes off, I blew an air line into the carbs. I also blew an air line as best as I could down the fuel line. I know this isn't going to fire up. I'll be very surprised if it does. I might have got some fuel in the system. Might have. But I'm not holding much hopes on that. Right, fuel is on. Nothing. You see? Absolute nano. Now, I put some fuel in the carburetors through their throats, and it did fire up. Briefly. Very briefly. So, to answer any questions, it don't run at the moment. So I'm waiting for that Jubilee clip to come back. I'm hoping that that pipe that's loose is all it will take to get that little extra pressure. But if it isn't the problem, and the pump is on its way out, because I have to look at that as a possibility at the moment, troubleshooting each issue as we go along. 2 issues have been resolved. This ran, last time I had this plugged in was 6 years ago, the proper facet one, and I pulled it apart last night. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's filthy dirty inside. Doesn't appear, although I was spraying crap down its throat, I can't get a suction on it, but that don't mean it won't work. So we'll cut that pipe off, we'll shove my 2 pipes on it, we'll clamp it down to the frame to get an earth, and we'll plug the live in, and we'll just see what will happen with that. Right, I have all day today been trying to diagnose the issue with this, right? I've got my old facet pump, which was not working before, now it is working. I've got that working, but the pressures are equal. I have not got fuel going into those carbs. It's as simple as that. It's coming up the line, it's going across that one, and then it's coming back and it's going through. Even when I restrict that pipe, it's still not filling up those carburetors at all. Now if I throw fuel through the necks, it'll fire up. So I thought maybe it was just the pump, so I've put the facet on there, and there's a little bit more pressure from that, but no, I've still not got sufficient pressure. I mean, I've got oil pressure now, I'm pleased about that, but I also have some other distractions going on which I'm not prepared to talk about, and I'm trying to find an air gun that I've got. I can't find it. I mean, I'm not surprised I can't find it, because I've got crap everywhere. So I need to have a good clear up. This is going to take me a couple of days. I also need a break as well. I am seriously starting to burn out, and I can't go any further on the car till I've got it up the top of the garden. We've run out of money anyway. We've now got to insure a second car. We've got to do something with the Citroen. On the way home, the ABS lights were coming back on again. I don't do electrics, and to be honest, the car, as much as it's been brilliant, I can't help feeling it might let me down sooner or later. So yeah, I think we're going to call this video, and I'm going to spend the rest of the week getting this bloody shed tidied up, swept as best as I can sweep it, getting this flaming thing out because I keep catching myself on screws. I've already ripped my trousers, look. And see if we can't find this air gun. I am in desperate need of this here air gun, because what I want to do, because I don't want to take the carburetors out yet, I need to blow air into the inlets, because I did that the other day with another gun that wasn't that powerful and she fired briefly. So I think my blockage, or my problem, is in there and there. So, conclusion, simple. We may have to take the carbs off and we may have to pull them apart and find out exactly what is going on. I may have put them back together wrong, or something may have slipped inside. I don't know. Until I get them off and I pull the bottoms off, I am not going to know. So this is not being shifted this week by the looks of things. I've done everything else properly. You've seen the rot hole, we'll fix that. Rather pleased with that. So with that in mind, I'm going to do some studying on the new pickup. I need to know what all the switches do, and I want to check some things on it. My mind is on that, and we've got some other stuff going on at Felixstowe, some issues that's got me a bit stressed out, so I can't concentrate on this thing at the moment. The shed's a mess. I think at this point now we need to end this and clean my shed up, which I'll do that tonight. I'm bored. Wait till she puts Coronation Street on and then I'll come out and do that bloody rubbish programme. It's the only TV series, isn't it, soaps, that never has a conclusion, an end, you know. Never. It's always, they always bring a new storyline out, and they're just rubbish. So I'm shed. We'll pack all my tools back up where they belong and get those toolboxes sorted out and go from there. I was using the gun last week when I was doing my homemade air compressor, because I had to blow out all the dust from when I was drilling, but something in my head has told me that I actually went out of my way to hang it up somewhere so I wouldn't lose it again. The last time I put a video away, the Titanic, about 20 years ago or more, whenever that came out, I put it away neat and tidily and it disappeared. I couldn't find it again, and I've still not to this day found it. I think the boy took it to school and sold it, to be honest, for some cigarettes, but that's another story. So somewhere in here is an air gun, and I haven't got a bloody clue where. I thought it would have been on this here bench. It was on this here bench, so it could have fell off and landed in the bin. It could have gone behind there. I could have hung it up somewhere and I physically just can't see it. I have no idea where it's gone, none whatsoever. And I got two, but that one's the only one with an adapter to plug into, and I ain't got no money to buy another one, so I'm really frustrated at the moment, because I need that to blow through those pipes and clear any obstructions, because as I said the last time I did it, it did what it needed to do. It filled up the fuel and she fired, but she wouldn't stay running. I mean, it was only a quick and that was it. So look, I am kind of at the end of my tether with all of this, and I need time to myself. I've been doing so much internet now, I'm worn out with it, and this film, there's so much footage that my computer is going to trip over big time when I start loading it all up. And in fact, if it does, I'll have to lower the resolution from 4K to 1000 plus, just so the computer can cope. There's a lot of footage here, unless I break it up into 3 separate videos, and even then it will still struggle. So yeah, we're working on the fuel system again. I honestly thought I was going to be moving this up the top this week. Not happening. I need a bit more time with it, and I need to be more in the mind set to do it, and at the moment I'm not. So look, for the previous videos and your lovely comments that you guys have given me, especially the last comment that was made about why am I looking for why do I need to worry about cars, blah blah. I can't remember what you put, sorry. I've got so much to do, you see. I didn't read the message properly, I got a little bit muddled. head fucked or head buggered or whatever you want to call it. I don't read it properly. No, I'm trying to get a vehicle on the road that I haven't got to work on. I'm just getting fed up of it. That's all very well people saying that you're capable of doing it, but I've already received complaints. One complaint claiming I'm a business and all that. I don't need that kind of BS from people that live near me, even if they do make more noise than me sometimes. I do go out of my way and I try and help everybody who lives on the estate. You know, I've had people turn up wanting help with their cars and projects and so forth, and I've done it. You know, I've just got on and done it and not charged or anything like that, because there's a community spirit thing in it. In fact, just not trying to praise myself up, we had a load of food given to us a little while back. A guy was clearing his front room out and he'd got all these tins of food, and the first thing we did was took a few out for ourselves and took the rest to the church up the road. They've got a food bank up there. So it is, isn't it? It's about community spirit, helping as many people as you possibly can. And I'm only saying it now because I don't want people thinking that I'm a selfish shit, and you know what I mean, and I don't even like telling you some of the things I've done to help, because it's nobody's business really, is it? And I'm not after brownie points and all that, so to speak. It's what you do. It's just a natural thing. It's what people are supposed to do. I know some people don't, but we do. And anyway, we're gonna go, so I'll see you very soon. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you soon.